Hello there everyone, it's me, Safari Sam, and today we have another great animal feeding video for you. The last episode of Safari Sam was us feeding our praying mantis, Rotem. We fed her a big fat juicy cricket, and I might show you the aftermath of that later. But, maybe not this episode, don't know, she didn't leave much of it. But, today we are going to try to feed our Black Widow, who I've still not decided on a name for. If you want to name our Black Widow, leave your recommendations down below. You can see her, yes? Right there. She's a pretty cool gal. We got her in this Zilla micro habitat, not sponsored. Hello, beautiful. Yeah, so she has kind of finally made up her web when I left her to do that. But now I want to see what will happen if we put a Dubia roach in there with her. Dubia roaches are great feeder insects. A feeder insect is, you know, something you would feed your pets. And spiders need live animals. They have to have live prey. And there are several live Dubia roaches chilling out in there. The rest I'm probably going to put in like a carrier or something and give them some fresh food because they can't survive in this on basically nothing. So yeah, I'm going to have to take care of that. Maybe that'll be its own video, maybe it won't, it might not be worth it. But today we're going to feed one of these puppies to our Black Widow. I want to save some of the bigger roaches for our Mantis Rotem, but if we zoom, try to plot up, it's down in the substrate. Of course it is. Well, I 100% lost track of that Dubia in the substrate, but there are more. And they can climb around. Oh, or it can fall into the substrate again. Well, this might be harder than I initially realized, folks. Let's just try placing one directly into the web. Nope, right into the substrate. Okay, well there's 3 Dubia roaches in there. They're bound to eat one eventually. So, I guess that's going to be an issue. Maybe Dubia roaches aren't the best thing for our spider. And I think I've freaked her out a little bit. So that's not exactly what I wanted to do. See her over there? No, what I really wanted was to catch a Dubia roach, and I tried my best. But alas, they've all disappeared down into the substrate. I need to use a more soily substrate next time. And that is clearly the moral of this story, because I picked through for the first 2, could not find them. But they're in there. They'll come back out. When I get hungry, they'll come back out. So, auto feeding, not entirely successful. It's hard to see on the camera because it's thin silk, but there's a lot of webbing right in here. And the Dubia just totally missed it. I was trying to drop it onto a strand. Just completely missed it. So I guess that means we're just going to have to shut our little friend up in here and hope that a Dubia comes out into their web, which I'm sure it will. Also, they had a relatively recent meal, at least for a Black Widow, so I'm not worried about them starving or anything, or dying of thirst, because they'll get their juices from their prey. But those Dubias, I know they like to climb because they're always stuck on the top of this thing when I open it up. They'll be fine. Right? They'll be fine. The Dubias are in there, they'll find their way up. There's 3 Dubias. One of them has just come out of the substrate. I thought we were done, folks. But it looks like we have another chance. So I just got to do this without disturbing the web too much. It's walking over into the corner. You're not going to be able to see it. That puppy just made a fatal mistake. That's the last one we dropped in. It came from the back and it's real light coloured. Excuse me, ma'am. Oh, you little fucker. Getting smart on me, eh? Fuck you! Let's just drop you right there. Our Dubia roach is now in the web. But there is an issue other than my zoom. It's not moving. I think in our attempt to grab it, might have squeezed it a little too tight. Oh, no. Wait. It is moving. Yeah, it's moving. That puppy is alive. And that movement will hopefully elicit a feeding response from our Black Widow. Now let's watch and see what she does. Nothing. The roach escaped. Girl, I am trying to help you. I don't know what you want from me, missy. Actually, I think you might be a male. But still. My hopes have been dished. Dished hopes. There's a piece of bark here. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, Our Dubia's down in there. Maybe one more try. No, fell right through. They're twitching. I don't know if they're long for this world. No, it looks like this isn't going to happen. Sorry folks, but I think feeding the Black Widow might not be the spectacle that feeding our praying mantis was. Speaking of, here is Rotim, who was also recently fed. Hello Rotim. Yes, I see you too. Yes, she knows we're talking about her. God, these things are incredible. But she hasn't moved much since her meal. She has elected to kind of stay here, which I'm pretty sure is normal. But the leaf litter beneath her tells the story of carnage. Look at that. That is what's left of the cricket we gave her. It is very little. Some of that's limestone, some of that's bark, but a decent bit of that's cricket. One leg, some wings. Almost the entirety of that cricket went into her. And Christ, it's kind of hard to tell. She's not that much bigger. Well, I am sorry that we couldn't get much out of the Black Widow. And hopefully, you know, something will crawl up and get in her web. I mean, there's 3 Dubias in there. I think one's probably going to die in the substrate. But the other 2 are still wriggling around, you know? They're still going for it. So we're going to do that. If you want a video of us trying to, like, establish, say, a Dubia roach colony, let me know. I could probably make that happen. I'm going to use some of the bigger ones in the future to feed Rotem, but not like fully grown ones. I mean, she's not gigantic, but she is big. She's long. Oh, beautiful creature. Really gorgeous. You gotta love Rotem. But I probably won't feed her again. I really feed her twice a week, so I probably won't feed her again. It's Sunday now, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. She'll get fed, depending on how active she is. The more she moves around, the more I figure she's looking for food. So we're going to do that. And part of me wanted to maybe raise an isopod colony in there, but I'm afraid that she'll just kill them all and maybe even overfeed. And I don't want her to overfeed, and I want my isopods to be successful. But isopods are what was originally going to go in here before Rotem. Yes, hello Rotem, I am talking about you. And I still want to put springtails in here, but I've had some trouble getting springtails. They won't ship them to my location for some reason. And I've gone to like pet stores and stuff, none seem to have springtails or be able to order them. They can order me all kinds of feeder insects, but none of them seem to be able to order me cleaner insects. Cleaner fish, cleaner crustaceans that aren't insects, non-insect crustaceans. Sure, like shrimp and plecos and shit, but no one seems to have springtails and isopods. Those are mail order. I could go outside catching isopods. Those are isopods for this natural environment. But alas, 'tis not meant to be. 'Tis not meant to be. So, yeah. Black Widow feeding, an objective failure. Praying Mantis feeding, our last episode, great. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. And if there are any updates with Rotema or Black Widow, I will let you know. Speaking of updates, let's add a little more meat to this episode. It's been a bit since we did an episode on it, but here is our beautiful aquarium. Specifically, the Ebera Enclave, which is our cherry shrimp, red cherry shrimp, and what we determined are yellow cherry shrimp. Yes, we also have something in here called the Littlefoot Legion, which is a couple of Nerite snails. Let's actually cycle our light up so you can see them a bit better. Had them on lower light recently. You see, we've had some algae blooming, but it actually was a lot worse. The shrimp ate a lot of the algae, but I observed when the light is on this intensity, which is better for filming, they don't eat as much algae. Now algae, it's not as harmful for tanks as people think. It's more that it's not pretty. But algae is kind of the main diet of the snails and shrimp that are in here, which is great. And we've got their moss and everything, and I have seen them also eating algae off the turtle shell. But that's not it. We recently had a red cherry shrimp molt, which is good. I saw the freshly molted shrimp scamper off under the turtle shell, and I haven't seen them since. They're probably hiding because they have a nice soft exoskeleton right now. But we do have a little yellow friend right here. Hello. But I also noticed that our attempts to breed shrimp are successful. I believe I mentioned in previous videos that I suspected we had pregnant shrimp. Now, I know for a fact that at least one red cherry shrimp is Omega Prego. I saw them walking along the glass right in front of the terrarium, and I turned the light on full intensity to check them out, and that motherfucker was full preg, eggs hanging on the abdomen like fruit. Really, really. So our efforts to breed shrimp have been incredibly successful. A bioactive enclosure, all natural elements and stuff, I think really helped that. Real wood, real turtle shell, real plants, substrate that already had lots of helpful bacteria and stuff in it, special bioactive shrimp substrate. We put our filter up on the sponge. We put the sponge on the filter to turn it into a sponge filter, which will build up helpful bacteria. I've already seen them eating off of the sponge, and also that'll keep the babies from getting sucked up. I want to add duckweed into here, but I want to wait to do it because it looks like we're going to move in a few months, and I don't want duckweed to propagate and then have to drain this tank to move, you know? And that's also made me think maybe I should delay the frog tank. I know you've all been waiting on it forever at this point, but the thing is, if I'm moving the frogs, by the time I get them all together, it'll be about time to move. Let me know what you want me to do with that. But I was actually looking at the tank. I pulled out the tank that I was going to use for the frogs. I thought it was a 20 gallon. It's probably more akin to a 30. it's bigger than my 20. And it's much bigger than this 10. So those frogs are going to have a lot of room. And I'm thinking right now I kind of have to start it a little because I got some aquatic plants for it already. My next video was going to be me starting that tank. But by the time it's all ready, it might be time to move. So I just don't know. So right now, I have a lot of questions. What do you want to name our Black Widow? What do you want us to do about the frog aquarium? And would you like to see another video where we attempt to feed our Black Widow later down the road when we're better at this? And currently that's it. I've ordered some more crustaceans. I just dropped the tweezers. It's my bad. My feeding tongs have fallen, as have my subscribers. That's it. Thank you all once again. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.